Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Supergirl Power. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, Supergirl Power stems off of the Batman-Superman story arc, Supergirl, written by Jeff Loeb. And as you can tell by the title of that Batman-Superman story, it was a reintroduction of Kara Zor-El as Supergirl in the mainstream modern DC continuity. There's been tons of Supergirls throughout the ages. A few of them have been Kara Zor-El, but most of them have either been erased or don't count. And then we've had some that have been unique individual, different Supergirls like Linda and Matrix. However, it's always been Kara Zor-El that people have been most interested and in love with. However, we've been without her since 1985. With the Batman-Superman story arc, Supergirl, Kara Zor-El was reintroduced into the DC continuity. However, she gets a little bit of a twist here and there. And in addition to that, she gets her own comic title. Now, Supergirl's first story arc, Power, is a way to kind of fill in all the missing stuff that we didn't get in the Batman-Superman Supergirl story arc. And a lot of her backstory, because there's a lot missing in the previous story arc, which reintroduces her. Now, the story starts off with Superman and Batman testing Supergirl's powers. See, they're still quite unsure about her on whether or not she's really legitimately Kara Zor-El and what her real deal is. Because you have to understand, and Supergirl is very vague about her backstory. She doesn't remember anything of her previous past at all. You know, she doesn't remember her family that much. She doesn't really remember why she was sent off Krypton. Nothing really. So, Batman and Superman are very curious of this. Supergirl, on the other hand, believes that they just don't trust her. So she needs to go through all these different parts of the DC universe to kind of figure out where she belongs. She goes to the Outsiders, the Justice Society of America, Wonder Woman, the Teen Titans, among many others, to try to find exactly where she belongs. Along the way, she has encounters with various villains, most notably Lex Luthor, and also the Dark Supergirl, which plays a major part in the story itself. See, there's an interesting twist in backstory that DC threw in for Supergirl's backstory. Something that's never been done before, which was very dramatic and very risky. But it also allows there to be a lot of layers and depth to the character itself. Quite a unique story in that it really is different from every other Supergirl story. While also at the same time being very much Kara Zor-El. Now, with that said, that's a basic story. Kara's going throughout all the DC universe, Teen Titans, Justice Society, Outsiders, Superboy, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, even Nightwing, to try to get some answers. And does she get them? Well, you're just going to have to read to find out. On to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Well, the first thing I want to say right off the bat is, bravo, Jeff Loeb. Bravo, you did a good job with Supergirl's backstory. A lot of people criticize Jeff Loeb, and a lot of people like Jeff Loeb. Let me just say here, is I enjoy Jeff Loeb, but I'm not immune to the fact that he has done bad work. Now, I read only Jeff Loeb's DC stuff, and for the most part, I've enjoyed all of his DC things. His run on Batman with Dark Victory, Long Halloween, Haunted Night, even Hush I enjoyed. And his Superman stuff such as No Limit, Worlds at War, and his Batman-Superman stuff, which include the volumes 1 through 4, I find very enjoyable. Now, I don't read his Marvel stuff, so I can't really comment on that at all, but I know there's a lot of negative views towards that. I guess in particular his Hulk. But I do find Jeff Loeb to be an able writer, just not one of the best. But he does a fantastic job here, really giving a lot of depth and layers to Kara. See, Supergirl has always kind of been a very blank slate of a character. Even in some of the more recent incarnations with Linda and Matrix, they tried to give her a lot more layers, but it didn't just quite work out that well. That's why those characters were either killed off or cancelled. However, Jeff Loeb does a good job at giving an interesting backstory to Kara Zor-El that is, while at the same time traditional to her original backstory, gives something new, and trust me, there is something big and new. We also find Kara to be a very enjoyable and relatable character. She's a 15-year-old girl that's trying to find her way in life. And while I can't necessarily relate to her as a 15-year-old girl, I can relate to her as an individual trying to find his place in life. She's not Superman. She doesn't have all the answers. She doesn't always win. She fails, and she has trouble struggling along the way. But at the same time, she never gives up, making Kara a very, very likable character, and definitely, in my opinion, the best incarnation of Supergirl thus far. Also, the story is structured very nicely. Kara goes from different points in the DC universe, not necessarily as a way to kind of have characters in there, but more or less to find a way to build the character itself. She talks to people like Power Girl, Superboy, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, along with various others, to kind of really build up the character itself. Because in the previous Batman Superman story arc, we really didn't get much to the character. We just got Supergirl. However, in this, we really get to see where the personality of Kara Zor-El shows up. The art is absolutely breathtaking and fantastic. Ian Churchill, I believe it is, he does a great job. His art is absolutely stunning. Take a look at that there. The cover art itself says it all. He really knows how to draw characters very nicely. The only complaint I have is he made Wonder Woman's boobs ridiculously huge. But other than that, his art is very, very breathtaking and very fantastic, and definitely a good artist. So the art is definitely something good too. This also paves the way for many other Supergirl stories to come. Bad. I can't really think of many too bad at all. Really, this is a good story. If you've ever been skeptical of Supergirl at all, for whatever reason, and you're one of those people that are very closed-minded on whether or not to read the new Supergirl stuff, for whatever reason, whether it's loyal to one of the previous Supergirls or you just don't like Jeff Loeb, I recommend you at least pick up this title. It's enjoyable, it's a great introduction to Kara, and I really have found no one that really has hated this story. Everyone I've talked to enjoyed the story, as did I. I picked this up as a story for my girlfriend and I to read together, and well, I just couldn't help myself. I read it, and I read through it at least 2 or 3 times. It was a really good story. And I plan on reading through it again, because I'm going to also start collecting the rest of the Supergirl series. So expect to see some more Supergirl reviews. With that said, I'm going to end this review here. Supergirl Power, an incredibly enjoyable experience. If you were ever skeptical of Kara Zor-El or skeptical of her in the Superman Batman storyline, I recommend you pick up this title. You will enjoy it. And for $14, you really can't go wrong. So with that said, this is Andrew saying, peace out for now.